doing? I'm John Duke with Union Home Mortgage. I'm here with Brian Osmond, as always, with Bella Bay Realty, and today we are graced with the presence of Casey Gascon from Next Door Title. She's an expert in title. What we're going to do today is we're going to break down, and I took a lot of notes to bring because I didn't want to, I don't want to screw this up because this is your lane. Right. But I want to break down some of the misunderstood parts of the home buying process, specifically title insurance. Well, the answer, the big question I have, why? Why do we need it?
Yeah, that's fair. Title insurance historically is just like this big thing that nobody understands and nobody really wants to look at because it can really make or break your deal, honestly. I'm sure you guys have both experienced that. Something comes up on title.
Yeah.
But it's important. It's a super important part of the process because we are the ones that are really checking that property out. We're doing a public record search. We're making sure that the person who signed that purchase agreement as the seller, they actually do own that property and have the authority to sell it. First and foremost, that's pretty important. We do a public record search to see any liens that are out there on the property so we can make sure that they're all taken care of at closing, taxes, that sort of thing. You know, if old Aunt Edna still has an interest in your property, we're going to find that out too so we can make sure that everything's clean and clear for that buyer at closing. That's why it's important for buyers. Lenders also benefit from it as well because obviously we're ensuring that lender that, hey, you're in first lien position and nobody else is going to go above you. And, you know, if they default on this mortgage, you're the one that's going to get to take this property.
I want to step in real quick.
Yeah.
And she's actually working a deal for a client of mine. Won't name property or whatnot, but literally deep dove into it and found out that the seller that sold it to my client didn't even have the right to sell it. And that was done through a title company that deed had never transferred ever.
I've never seen that ever. I mean, I searched and we searched and they just flat out, there was never ever a deed recorded to that party ever. So I don't know what happened there. We actually I really am curious how that happened.
Yeah. Not to jump off track.
Right,
but
sorry.
Just to prove.
That's exactly what it does. Just to put it in layman's terms, it assures that the person buying the home, they're the only ones buying the home.
Absolutely.
And when they walk out the door and they get the keys to that property that they're so excited about, nobody else can take that away from them.
Absolutely right.
Unless they stop making their payments.
Correct.
That's why that's right.
Absolutely.
You know, and this differs greatly from, when we're doing a financial design meeting with a client, there are 3 different insurances we have to talk about. Often it's mortgage insurance if they don't have 20% down.
Sure.
Homeowner's insurance that protects the property from fire, from not theft, but from fire,
Sure.
from
Natural
storms,
elements,
natural disasters, and then yours that just literally puts an umbrella over the property.
True.
Am I saying that right?
Yeah, that's a great way to describe that, actually. I've never heard it put quite that way, but sure, absolutely.
I don't know if we mentioned over at the Log Jam restaurant.
Yeah,
And
this is a
pretty
great
great.
place. This is in Grand Ledge, Michigan.
Yeah.
Awesome food.
Chris
Cheers.
Fada owns this place.
Yeah.
He's been a friend of mine for quite some time. Check it out. I'm smelling a lot of the food here, and it's making me.
I agree. It's
really
making me hungry.
Tell us, from your standpoint, how important it is to have not only the relationship, obviously, with myself as a lender,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
how that really, an awesome title agency like Casey, how that really benefits both of us.
Well, obviously it starts, 1, with the lender getting you approved, 2, the realtor finding you the home, 3, having a smooth, very knowledgeable title company that knows what they can close and what they can't. For me, it's priceless. If that's the, and it's hard. There's great title companies out there. Don't get me wrong, but there's also,
Yeah, sometimes crazy stuff comes up that you just don't anticipate. And there's 2 kinds of title agents, right? There's the ones that are just like, nope, here's this problem. And then they just leave it at that and they leave it right in your lap. And then there's other title agents that this is where we like to fall is, hey, there's this massive issue that came up. Here's some different solutions that I'm coming up with. Here's how you can help. Like, let's move this forward to the closing table. Let's not just put a halt on it and be done.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't know why some agencies operate that way. I'm sure they have other benefits, but there's usually always a solution.
Sure.
In the past, in days well before COVID, not to just bring that part up, but it was a celebration. Like, it was the buyer's agent, the seller's agent, the title company.
Yeah.
And we all met at the same table and we had this big celebration and everything. It doesn't happen that way as much anymore.
True.
We're in a world of what's called split closings, where there's really 2 title companies involved.
Yep.
Buyer's title company and seller's title company. So that's a dance that you have to maneuver.
True. Hmm.
You know, and so that's where we definitely need somebody with your expertise to be able to maneuver those waters and make sure the celebration happens at the same time.
Yeah,
Maybe not at the same place, but at the same time.
absolutely.
And it's the last. It's kind of the exit for everybody. The sellers leave with hopefully a big check, and I'm really happy to move on with their life.
Sure.
And that was a title company that managed that. But then the buyers, they're walking out feeling protected, and you're the last thing they get to
Yeah,
see.
honestly, that is fun. That's one of my favorite parts of my job, to be honest, is most people, when they come in, I don't know, it's probably 50-50, but like, I just love when you get those buyers that are so excited and they're so happy it's closing day. And I just feed off that because then I get super excited too. And I want to make sure they understand everything. And I want to make sure that it's a celebration because it really is. And like, let's take a photo. And I love those. Some people just want to come in and sign, and that's okay too. But I really love those celebratory closings.
Bottom line, I mean, he has a process. We have a process. You have a process. But we all mix these together and we work in concert and really dance this thing. I've said that a couple times now, but I like to look at everything that we do as an experience.
Right.
We want to give our clients an experience, but they deserve to know the why. And I think we've enlightened them. Why do we need title insurance? Why is it there? There's an expense to it. But with that expense, you're protecting arguably the biggest investment you've ever made.
Absolutely.
Let me ask one question, though.
Yeah.
If you can explain, what does the title insurance protect the buyer, either against or for? How does it protect them? What is the true value in that insurance?
Yeah.
I've heard in the past, you buy $100,000 home, it gets insured for $100,000. That's the insurance policy is $100,000.
Yeah.
So, what is the
what's it really covering? Yeah. Right. So for a buyer, at closing, the seller pays for the title insurance policy that covers the buyer. It's the owner's policy. They'll be the new owners. The current owners take care of that charge. It really ensures the buyer that nothing's going to come up later. If they go to refinance this house in 3 years, 20 years, doesn't matter how long, there's no end date to your insurance policy. And say that people that sold it to them, their lender didn't properly discharge that mortgage. And now they're trying to refinance their house and they have the loan on it. They have lien from the loan when they bought it, but also they still have this guy's lien on it. So that's what the title insurance is for. We'll come in, we'll help solve that problem. We'll reach out to that old lender, that sort of thing. So, or if like somebody comes and says, hey, I had a land contract with somebody who owned this, 3 owners ago, and now you need to honor this. I mean, that's something
came out of the woodwork.
Exactly. So that's the kind of thing that a title insurance agent could help sort of navigate and decide if, yes, that is actually a claim on your policy and you are entitled to some compensation for that. Or, hey, let's come up with these solutions to get rid of this problem.
Right.
So it really, the good thing about title insurance, it's that one-time charge at closing, and it covers you as long as you're the owner of that property. So it's not, like homeowners insurance where you're renewing every year, auto insurance, anything like that. So it covers for those sort of things. Or if they start getting delinquent tax notices. Hey, title company, did you forget to pay these taxes or what happened there? So we're really a resource also to hey, I'm having these post-closing issues. I don't really know about them. And you wouldn't. Come call us.
We had that situation.
Oh gosh, which one?
Well,
we've had
we
a
don't
lot.
Name. Yeah. No. Where a situation came up, somebody got a tax bill, and you had to explain it.
Yes, I
absolutely. You had to explain what that was for.
Yep.
It wasn't a big tax bill, but
no, and that's most of what it is, right? It's just people don't really know what to expect when they're buying a house, and then we can just always be a resource like you guys are, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure you get calls. Hey, I got my tax bill in the mail. Why do I have this? I thought my escrow account was going to pay it.
I call them for that kind of question, just myself.
Exactly.
Also, you guys bear a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
So when that closes, not only are you sending the note and the deed to be recorded to the registered deeds in a timely fashion, but you're also, under most circumstances, correct me if I'm wrong, you're sending in the principal residence exemption.
Oh, yeah.
And so if that happens to not be recorded correctly or documented correctly, they come to you.
Yep.
They're going to call me first.
Sure. When you say no, you got to call Casey.
I'm going to get them in contact with you.
Yes.
That you bear there's a lot of value in what you do long after closing that they've only paid for.
Yeah. Honestly, I appreciate you saying that, John, because I think that a lot of people, like I said, title's a big mystery, right? So a lot of people just assume that we're just the smiling face that signed your documents with you.
Yeah.
But there's a lot going on behind the scenes that we take care of, and that's a perfect example.
Well, every part of this process is, matters. Whether you're shopping for the best realtor in the market, a lending partner that's going to get you to the closing table on time, and a title agent that's going to be able to make this all happen and protect you. There's a lot of working parts, and so feel free to call us anytime, any time of day. We'll walk you through this again. Once again, John Duke, Brian Osmond, Casey Gascon. It's a pleasure to be with you today. Have a great day.
Cheers.
Nice. See? That was a little.
I don't even know.
I won't apologize to her.
East Lansing. I'm here with Brian Osmond with.
They wanted to be famous also, like us. I know, right?